Hello, my name is Domenic with the matrix number of AN220195, and in this video, I will be talking about EMS, which is Engine Management System. Let's go. So, what is EMS? So, EMS, which is also Engine Management System, is a whole system that helps to monitor and control the engine performance of this vehicle. So, the system involves in many sensors as well as some control modules in order to allow a very optimized combustion process, to adjust the ignition timing as well as to control the fuel injection. So one of the main components of the EMS system is the ECU, which is the engine control unit. So the engine control unit is usually located below here underneath the glove box of the vehicle. So why is ECU so important in the system? Because ECU is basically a device or a computer that helps to process data as well as to calculate the data sent from the sensors of the engine in order to allow the EMS system to make real-time adjustments in order to optimize the engine performance. So the ECU must be very reliable because the ECU will make millions of calculations per second in order to optimize the engine performance in any driving conditions. So one of the biggest misunderstanding that people usually make is that EMS as well as ECU are the same thing with the same meaning but just in different terms, which is not true. So EMS, Engine Management System, describes the entire system involved in modern vehicle. Hence, the system involves in the multiple subsystems and components in order to control and adjust and manage the entire overall engine performance. So for the EMS, it involves hardware as well as software in order to manage, control the fuel injection, the ignition timing, as well as the emission control. For the ECU, the difference between the ECU and the EMS is that the ECU is part of the component of the EMS. So the ECU, as mentioned, is the central computer of modern vehicles of the EMS system. So what does the ECU do? The ECU will first receive the data from the sensors of the vehicle. After that, the ECU will process this data and make calculations and then would manage commands to the actuators. So after that, the ECU would then make adjustments mainly towards the fuel injection, the ignition timing, as well as the idle speed in order to optimize the engine performance. Another fact for the ECU is that the ECU can only read and receive digital signals. Hence, the sensors around modern vehicle will then send voltage signals towards the ECU. Before the data are calculated in by the ECU, the voltage signal will then be converted towards digital voltage signal. Hence, after that, then the ECU will be able to read and process the data. So now, usually technicians will use the thing called OBD scanner, which is onboard diagnostic scanners, in order to solve what is going on in the EMS, which is the engine management system. But since I currently don't have a OBD scanner, normally we can buy these, which is digital meters, which uses the OBD2 plug. So first, we will plug the OBD2 socket with the digital meter. Now, I've plugged the digital meter towards the OBD2 plug. So now we will start the vehicle. The reason why I've bought this digital meter is because I'm the owner of a Toyota Vios NCP93. Since the NCP93 does not have the engine coolant temperature gauge, hence I've chosen to buy this because I can actually see the real time data of the engine coolant temperatures. The data that are observed from this meter is basically fully from the EMS system. So this basically acts as a scanner, but without able to show the diagnosis code, which is the fault codes that are possible in a vehicle. So as you can see here, we have the RPM meter. So let's see if I step on the throttle. You can see that the RPM increases. This is solely the data from the sensors by the EMS system. Hence, this device can be used to observe real-time engine performance parameters, which can be very useful when we don't have a scanner. That's all for me in this video. Thank you very much.